Dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Vidya for Success. In this video, we will be studying continuation part of theory on the lesson Biological Classification. Yes, now let us study about slime molds. So slime molds, it is the one more division, comes under the kingdom Protista. So what is the meaning of slime molds? So slime is nothing but nature of the organism. It is slimy. So something which is slimy, that is comes under this group. And molds we usually use for fungi. So because of the thread-like appearance, what we can see in the fungi, they are named as molds. So here also, the slime molds, they will show their body appearance similar with that of the fungi. So here also we will use the term molds. So molds are the terminology used for filamentous body. So slime molds are the unique type of organisms belongs to the Protista kingdom. So they are commonly called as fungi like protist. As I told, they appears like fungi, but they are not actually fungi. So earlier they were confused as a fungi because how the fungi will grow on the rotten vegetable and fruit. In the similar way, slime molds are also come up on the surface of dead and decaying organic matter. So because of this, earlier they were considered as fungi. But later on, by the detailed study, they came to know that these organisms are not fungi because we have lots of differences between fungi and slime molds. So what is the difference? So one of the difference is fungi consist of chitin cell wall, but slime mold cell wall is not made out of chitin. This is the one difference. And one more is fungi usually does not move from one place to another place. Only spores will move, but they actually not move from one place to another place. But the slime molds, they will move uh, one place to another place. So this is what the differences we could make out between the fungi and slime molds. So you can see in the diagram. So this is what the one of the example of slime mold. You can see the filamentous structure there. So this is the similar structure as that of fungi. So in fungi also you can notice the filamentous body. Then where do we find these slime molds? So as I told, they will grow on dead and decaying organic matter because they feed on those substances. So because of that, the habitat of slime mold is dead and decaying organic matter. So where the moisture content is more and where the organic matter is more on the surface of soil, in that region we can see the formation of slime molds. Then what kind of nutrition do they require? So they are heterotrophic in their nutrition because they can't able to prepare their own food material. They lack the chlorophyll pigment and they can't synthesize food. So because of that, this group of organisms are considered as heterotrophs. So among the heterotrophs, we can consider them as saprophytic protists because they feed on dead and decaying organic matter. So which organism actually feed on dead and decaying organic matter? They are called as saprophytes. So slime molds are example of saprophytic protist. So this is how they will get their nutrition in the habitat. And one more this thing is when the environmental condition is suitable, that means when the moisture content is more in the soil, during that time it will form aggregation. That means all the filaments aggregate together and that aggregation of the filament is called as plasmodium. Clear? So the mass of filament aggregated at one place, that is what we are calling as plasmodium. So this will happen only when the condition is favorable. That means when the organic matter is more in the soil and when the moisture content is more in the soil. So during that time it will form plasmodium. Then during the unfavorable condition, that means when the environment is adverse for the growth of the plasmodium starts differentiating. That means it will form a one more structure that is called as fruiting body. So fruiting body you can compare with the mushroom. That means mushroom will always grow perpendicular to the soil. So in a similar way, slime molds also form a fruiting body that is erect, upright, and that fruiting body forms lots of spores. So spores are actually asexual reproductive propagules. So they helps in reproduction. So you can see here in the life cycle. So plasmodium is the actual body form what we can see in the favorable condition in this organism, and uh, when the environment is adverse during that time it will form fruiting body. You can see the sporocarp, that is the fruiting body, and that fruiting body is formed for the formation of spores. So spores are the asexual propagules, so they germinate again and they will undergo fusion and again they will form plasmodium. So this is how the life cycle continues in the organism. So the mode of reproduction what we can see in the slime mold is by spore formation. Spore will easily spread through the wind current. So it will carry spore towards the different area, and when it get a suitable environment there it will germinate and again it will form new plasmodium. So this is how the continuation of generation takes place in the slime mold. So you have to concentrate on all the characteristic feature of slime mold. So slime molds are called as fungi like protist, and they habitat to dead and decaying organic matter, and the mode of nutrition is saprophytic because they feed on dead and decaying organic matter. So when the environmental condition is suitable, the filamentous structure aggregate and form plasmodium, and when the environment is unfavorable during that time it will form fruiting body to form spores for reproduction. So this is what the characteristic features of slime molds. Yes, let us study the one more and last division of the protista, that is protozoans. So these protozoans are called as animal-like protist. So because of their appearance, their resemblance with the animals, they are called as animal-like protist. So we have seen chrysophytes. So chrysophytes and dinoflagellates, they are similar with the plants, so that they were called as plant-like protist. And also we have studied euglenoids, so they were showing both the characteristic feature, that means sometime they act as a plant, sometime they act as animals. And we have also studied about slime molds, so where we have seen they appears like a fungi, so that they are called as fungi like protist. But here we have protozoans. Protozoans are called as animal like protist because of their appearance and because of their mode of nutrition. They are actually called as they are actually called as ancestors of animals because of their primitive structure. So they considered as animals are evolved from protozoans. So protozoans are unicellular heterotrophic organism. So earlier they were considered as animals and they were placed under the kingdom Animalia. But later on, by the study, detailed study, they came to know that they are not actually animals, so that they were removed from the animal kingdom and they were placed under the separate division under the Protista. So now we have unicellular heterotrophic animals under the division protozoans. So these protozoans are the ancestors of animals. And how do they survive? What is the mode of nutrition in the protozoans? So protozoans are heterotrophs. That means they can't synthesize as food, so that they depends on some other organisms for their survival. So some of the protozoans they live as predators. That means they depends on other organism. They will eat other organism and they survive. And some are parasites. That means they live within the other organism. So which organisms are living within the other organism? So those organisms are considered as parasites. So parasites are disease causing agents. So we have many examples of protozoans. They are comes under parasitic category. So you have to remember that parasites are disease causing organism. So they actually live within the other living organism. Then protozoans are divided into four major groups based on the locomotion, kind of locomotion. So one of the group is amoeboid protozoans. So in the name itself you can guess why these protozoans are named as amoeboids. Yes, because their locomotory organ, that means pseudopodia is the locomotory organ of the protozoans. So which protozoans they are having pseudopodia for locomotion, those are comes under this group. The second one is flagellated protozoan. Yes, what is the locomotory organelle here? Flagella. So which protozoans they are having flagella? They are placed under this group. And third one is ciliated protozoan. So here the locomotion takes place by cilia. The last one is sporozoans. So sporozoans does not consist of locomotory organ like what we have seen the upper three protozoans. So these are spore producing protozoans, so that they are named as sporozoans. Understood? So this is very important part in the protozoan. That means the group of protozoans, four groups of protozoans. So these groups are done based on the kind of locomotory organ. Yes, let us talk about the first one, that is amoeboid protozoans. So why these protozoans are named as amoeboid? Because their locomotory organ is pseudopodia. So where do we find amoeboid protozoans? So they are actually habited to fresh water, and some are habited to sea water, or some they are present in moist soil. So that you you will get a clear idea regarding the amoeboid protozoan habitat here. So some are freshwater, some are habited to sea water, that means marine water, some are habited to moist soil, that means where the water content is more, in that soil we can find amoeboid protozoans. Yes, in the amoeboid protozoan, the locomotory organ is pseudopodia. What do you mean by pseudopodia? So pseudopodia means false leg. So here you can see in the diagram, so the cytoplasm in the organism extend outside. So that cytoplasmic extension is actually forming a false leg. So that is what we are calling as pseudopodia. So whenever the animal need to move from one region to another region, so this pseudopodia help the organism, so that the movement in its habitat takes place with the help of pseudopodia. And the one more use the organism getting by the pseudopodia is engulfing of food. So you can see in the another diagram here. So the green color one what you are seeing, that is the prey. So the amoeba will engulf the prey with the help of pseudopodia, that means the extension of cytoplasm. Then it will engulf it. It will engulf it. That is called as phagocytosis. Phagocytosis is nothing but cell eating. So for cell eating, what is helpful in the organism? Yes, that is pseudopodia. So with the pseudopodia, it will engulf the food and it will digest it. So this is the mode of digestion of food takes place with the help of pseudopodia, so that it will catch the prey with the help of pseudopodia. Then some of the marine forms, marine protozoans, they consist of outermost protective covering, that is made out of silica. So silica, we know it is very protective in nature. It will give complete protection to the organism. So we have seen that the protozoans are not having cell wall. So in marine forms, marine organisms, silica act as a protective shell from the outside, so that it is present on the surface of organism for giving protection. So the best example of organisms belongs to this category is amoeba. So amoeba is an example. Then One more example is entamoeba. So entamoeba is the best example of parasitic organism here. So parasitic means disease causing. It is parasitic to human body and some other animal. So in the human being it will causes amoebic dysentery. So we have two best examples belongs to this category. One is entamoeba, it is a parasitic one. Then one more is amoeba, it is present in stagnant water. Amoeba is actually habited to stagnant water. Then the second group of protozoan is flagellated protozoans. So in the flagellated protozoans, the locomotory organ is flagella. So you can look into the diagram here. So this is the trypanosoma. So trypanosoma is the example of flagellated protozoan. You can see at one end of the animal there is a long tail-like structure is there, that is actually flagella. So because it consists of the flagella, it is considered as flagellated protozoan. So where do we find this flagellated protozoan? So the members of this group are either free living or parasite. So free living is nothing but they are not living inside the other organism. They are free living. Being a free living, they feed on the food what is available in their habitat. And some are parasitic, as I told trypanosoma here. So trypanosoma is the best example of parasitic flagellated protozoan. That means it lives within the other organism and it survive within the other host organism. Then they have flagella for locomotion. So the movement of the organism is takes place with the help of flagella. Then trypanosoma is a parasitic one. So this will causes one of the disease in human, that is sleeping sickness. So you can see in the diagram that is actually the presence of trypanosoma in the human body. So on either side of the animal you can see the blood cells. So this is actually parasitic to human body. So in the human it causes sleeping sickness. So when this organism enters in, after a certain period of time it will induces a sleep. So repeatedly the person feel like sleep. So this is responsible for causing one of the disease called as sleeping sickness in human. So this is about flagellated protozoan consisting flagella for locomotion. Then the one more type of protozoan is ciliated protozoan. So the name itself suggesting the locomotory structure in this group of organism is cilia. What is mean by the cilia? You can notice in the diagram. On the surface of organism you can find a small air-like structure all over its body. So these small air-like structures are nothing but cilia. So you have seen flagella. So flagella is actually long whiplash structure. So cilia is a small air-like structure. They are present in more number. So flagella ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದಾಗೆ the flagella number is restricted to 1 or 2. But the number of cilia is always more. It is very small and it covers the surface of organism. So where do we find ciliated protozoans? So they are actually habited to water. So in marine water, in fresh water, we can notice the presence of ciliated protozoans. So their habitat is aquatic habitat. Then in the aquatic habitat, they move actively because of the presence of cilia. So as I told, these cilia help in locomotion movement. So because it is habited to water, it need to move from one place to another place. So in which direction the cilia move, in that direction the animal move in its habitat. Then the one more use the animal getting by the cilia is it helps in engulfing food around its area. So in the water body when the organism is moving, so it helps to direct the food particle towards the region of gullet. So where do we find gullet in the organism? So mouth pore, you can see the diagram, mouth pore. So small opening you can find here. So this opening what we are calling as gullet or mouth pore. So how in our bodies the mouth is get open towards the outer region. So in the similar way Paramecium also consists of gullet. This opens towards the outer region. So cilia will move in a coordinated manner. That means uh, all the cilia will move towards one direction. So that coordinated movement of cilia help to catch the food and it direct the food to enter into the gullet region. So that the coordinated movement of cilia helps the organism to take the prey towards the region of gullet. So that the food particle directed towards the gullet region by the coordinated movement of cilia. So this is how the organism is getting help by cilia. So what are the help it is getting? So one, the cilia helps in locomotion, and one more, it helps in the movement of food material towards the gullet region. Then the best example of ciliated protozoan is Paramecium. So this is what the diagram what we are seeing. This is the Paramecium. So can you guess the characteristic shape of this organism? So this is appears like lady slipper shape. Is it not? So lady slipper shape is the characteristic shape of Paramecium. So this is the best example of ciliated protozoan. Is the last type of protozoan is sporozoans. So sporozoans are the members, they are not showing any locomotory organ. So we have seen the flagellated protozoan where the locomotion takes place by flagella, and ciliated protozoan where the cilia helps in locomotion, and also we have seen amoeboid protozoan where the locomotion takes place by pseudopodia. But sporozoans are the members, they are not showing the presence of locomotory organ. So the locomotory organ is not present in the sporozoans. And where do we find these sporozoans? So sporozoans, they are parasitic in their nutrition. That means they present within the other organism. They survive within the other living organism by causing number of different disorders. So sporozoans are the best example of parasitic organisms. So how do this organism causes disease? So one of the stage in the life cycle of this organism is highly infectious. So in that particular infectious stage, this organism causes diseases in animals. So let us see, these members of this group show infectious spore-like stage in its life cycle. So as I told, one of the infectious stage can be seen in the life cycle of the sporozoan. So that infectious stage is nothing but spore forming stage. That means when the organism forms spores, so those spores are highly infectious in nature. So when they enters into animal, they will cause us diseases. So best example you can take Plasmodium. So Plasmodium is the parasitic sporozoans. So this will cause us well-known disease in the human, that is malaria. Yes, the malaria disease is caused by Plasmodium. So in which stage we will get this disease? How actually we are get infected by Plasmodium? So in the sporozoic stage, that means in that particular infectious stage, the Plasmodium enters into our body with the bite of mosquito. That means mosquito inject the spores of these organisms into our body so that we suffer from disease. So you can see in the diagram, so the presence of Plasmodium within the bloodstream. So you can find the violet color crescent shaped cells. So those are nothing but Plasmodium. Clear? So when the spores that means spore is actually the infectious form of the sporozoans. So in the infectious stage, the sporozoans will get enters into our body. That infectious stage is nothing but the spore forming stage. Understood, right? So all the members belongs to the sporozoans. They produce spores. The spore is highly infectious in nature. So when it enters into the animal, it will cause us number of different disorders. So the best example we have studied here is Plasmodium. So this is the example of sporozoans. So you have to remember here all the 4 types of protozoan because this is very important for the point of examination.